My boyfriend's mother claimed she was dying and moved into our one-bedroom apartment, refused fans or light, demanded midnight massages, and manipulated him into quitting his job. When I tried to leave for a trip to see my family, he called me selfish and said if I were dying, you'd stay. I went anyway, and now I'm realizing how deep his mother's control runs. I, 25F, live with my boyfriend Liam, 24M. About a month ago, his mom Tanya began claiming she's dying of cancer, but no diagnosis has been confirmed. Every hospital visit ends with her being sent home. A nurse even told Liam she might be faking. It started when she stayed one night at our one-bedroom apartment. That turned into a week of chaos. She refused AC and fans, said they hurt her skin, but blow-dried her hair daily. The apartment smelled awful. Everything had to be dark and silent, and she constantly demanded help. She even stormed into our bedroom at 3 a.m., asking Liam for massages. We sleep naked, so that was awkward. She criticized our Buddhist souvenirs, insisted we hang a cross, I did, and complained non-stop. She suggested we move in with her, an hour from our jobs/school. I'm a full-time student with 2 jobs and a 4.0 GPA, and I was falling behind. Liam, who works full-time, switched to remote work. His boss hated this, to care for Tanya. Her health updates were always shifting. MRI, canceled surgery, then chemo postponed due to infection, then E. coli. Always a new reason. No clear diagnosis or paperwork. When her husband David, who funds her lifestyle, was away, she made us go to her house to get her jewelry because she thinks he'll steal it when she dies. He's an alcoholic, according to her. We were supposed to take her to the ER right after, but we ended up staying 16 hours doing chores. I folded 420 clothing items, cleaned the whole house, and felt like her unpaid maid. Not a single please or thank you. She was stalling to go to the ER, and when we finally got there at 5 a.m., she said she'd check herself in and sent us home. 3 hours later, she called again, sobbing for help. She had been rejected by the ER. I suspect she faked it. Liam and I have both been skipping meals, losing sleep, and falling behind at work to help her. He once said he's waiting for her to pass away so we can move to Europe. He's been forced to manage her divorce, lawyer meetings, and funeral prep. Meanwhile, David, who's paying the hospital bills and had been kept in the dark about all this, sent Liam aggressive texts like, "I call bullshit and don't show up at my house no more." Then later apologized. Tanya called again begging for help. But this time she wanted me because David is jealous of Liam. I had clearly told Liam I needed that weekend to study for final exams, and going to that house alone seemed sketchy. Now, I'm planning a 2 to 3 week Europe trip to see my mom, whom I haven't seen in over a year. Liam says he supports it, but called it a little selfish. He's asked, "If I were dying, would you quit your job to be with me? And if it were your mom, would you help her?" I felt pressured to say yes. But truth is, my family wouldn't lie to me or use me like this. I love Liam and want to be there for him, but I don't trust his mom, and this is starting to affect our relationship. Aita for refusing to help Tanya and going home to Europe? Relevant comments. Commenter, NTA. I know you love your boyfriend, but you need to ask yourself if you're willing to give up your own life for him and his mom, because it's never going to stop. It could stop if he chooses to set boundaries, but it doesn't sound like he'll do that. OOP. Thank you. He's assured me multiple times that I'm his priority. If I told him to stay with me instead of going to the hospital, he would. And the only times I'll ever ask him to stay is when I can tell his own health is suffering from it. He's also ready to move to Europe with me. It's just that he's getting guilt-tripped by his mother. Every time he tries to leave the hospital, she falls to her knees and says stuff like, "God will bless you more if you stay. This is our last meal together." Or, "I have no one. I am all alone." And that's what gets to him. Recently, he asked me to come to the hospital with him to give him a reason to leave early. When we tried to explain to her that we have an appointment elsewhere, she cut us off and said, "Just go then." She didn't care for an explanation. When Liam said, "Bye mom, I love you," she just snapped back, "Actions speak louder than words. Don't call me anymore." But then 2 hours later, she calls him and begs for him to come back. I don't get it. Commenter 2, NTA. Does Liam see that she's faking it, or does he genuinely believe her? Not that it really makes a difference. OOP. So, I don't think he sees it. I've brought up once that what she's doing is manipulation, and he said that's a bit harsh. I then asked him if he thinks he's ever been manipulated by his mom, and he said, "Oh, definitely. She's the biggest manipulator I know. But this is different because she's actually sick, so she just really needs me to be with her." So I think he's a bit in denial. Unless I'm the crazy one and she really is sick, I'd owe the world an apology. Commenter 3, NTA. I think you need to have a serious sit-down with Liam and suggest his mom get therapy. No one has that many issues and gets rejected from an ER or has important procedures cancelled and not rescheduled for as soon as possible. She using this as manipulation. Your lives will be permanently on hold until this is dealt with or contact is cut. OOP. That's what I've been worried about since day one. Ever since we invited her to stay one night, I had a feeling it was going to be months until this gets settled. I like your advice, however my boyfriend is strictly against therapy, have kindly suggested it to him in the past with his own issues but he refuses to even consider it. Doubt he'll suggest it to his mom, especially since he doesn't think she's manipulating us. I will try though. Worst thing that can happen is that he says no. Thank you. More on therapy. OOP. He was actually a psychology major with a health professions minor, which is why he understands psychology and doesn't see a point in therapy. I've tried therapy and I'll say it wasn't super helpful, did the free version on campus, but it also wasn't so horrible that I'd tell people it's useless. I think it helped in some ways, and I'm sure that it's even better off campus. Commenter 4, NTA. Why is his family more important than yours? I would tell him that he should move her to assisted living or an apartment and hire help. OOP. We've tried getting her assisted living and hired help, but somehow they all refuse to take the gig. Something's always preventing her from getting help, and I can't tell if it's true or if she's the one denying help. Also, I do think that his family should be as important as mine. We see our partnership as a family, meaning his family is, whether I like it or not, my family. So I do think if she was on her deathbed, I shouldn't just go on vacation in Europe. I'm only considering it because I don't believe she's that sick, and if she is, then she should get help and not exploit my boyfriend. Commenter sunk. It's only going to get worse and she will ruin everything. OOP. I see your point and I want to agree so badly. I'm just so confused because she was always so supportive of us. She'd say, "I love you" to me, buy me clothes and other gifts, give me her old car when mine broke down, and always say she loves our pictures and wants us to go travel the world. Granted, she has always been obsessed with her son and clearly jealous, but in a modest way. She'd never act on it other than guilt, tripping him into spending some time with her. Never anything as extreme as this. So I don't understand why she would go to such lengths if she really is faking some, or even all of it. Part of me just doesn't want to believe it, but I really do feel like she's using her sickness in every way to get attention. And that's not okay to me, especially when Liam is getting mentally and physically exhausted and risking his job to help her. Commenter 6. Has anyone actually seen a doctor's report of cancer? OOP. No idea. I've asked my boyfriend if it's certain that she has cancer and he said yes, and he's apparently also heard doctors talking about it looking bleak, but I haven't seen anything official and don't know if he has either or if it's all just Tanya's story. I also don't get why there aren't any clear next steps. Seems like every day is unknown. She might call us to her house, she might be back in the ER, she might not talk to us at all. Sometimes Liam's dad calls because she's begging him for help, even though David is highly jealous of that man. I really just want to stay out of it, but I know my boyfriend is suffering and has a hard time saying no to her. Have there been any noticeable physical changes? OOP. She's lost a lot of weight and gotten very fatigued. She's very slow, can't do simple tasks on her own, and doesn't talk much unless it's call Liam over or to keep him from leaving. If she doesn't have cancer, then she's starving herself and using the fatigue to get attention. She does look and act sick, but her other behavior and the secrecy surrounding it all just makes no sense to me. I usually see the best in people, but in this case, I have this deep gut feeling that she's lying to us, if not about the diagnosis, then about something else. I just don't understand why. Commenter 7. NTA. Have you guys talked to David? She is trying to convince you that he is not trustworthy, which means she is probably telling you and David different stories. OOP. David is an odd character in all this. I actually always sided with him, thinking he's probably getting antagonized by her, but then he started threatening Liam over text, saying, "When you grow some nuts, "Don't come to my house no more." He said it because everyone seemed to know about Tanya's situation, but him, which I get. It's upsetting for the husband, but still no need to attack the son. I lost respect for him at that point, but I have considered reaching out to him to hear his story. I 100% agree with you that David and Liam are getting two different stories from Tanya. More on their divorce process. She hasn't gotten divorced because her husband pays the medical bills. This month, she had Liam file for her divorce and abuse without the husband's knowledge, which makes no sense to me because she needs his money and tries to please him at home, but also doesn't want him to help her. That's what I'm being told. And when I start asking too many questions, my BF just shrugs and says he has no clue either what's up with them. He's pretty annoyed by this, but also concerned for his mom, understandably. Mini updates and comments. June 29th, 2025, next day. So I'm starting to gather more info and will post an update at some point, but it's possible that she didn't get rejected, but rather they gave her pain meds and sent her home. I'm finding out that she got her MRI and cancer diagnosis done at one hospital and then went to another one for her Qley. The second hospital gave her antibiotics and then discharged her, and now we are all waiting for a call from the first hospital to reschedule chemo. But they haven't called her or Liam yet. It's been about a week. We also can't call them because Liam doesn't know which hospital it was and his mom is not capable of telling him. When she calls him, she just cries out in pain and begs for help and says she can't read the labels of her meds. Liam tries to help remotely, but she wants him there and hangs up when he refuses. The issue apparently is that the first hospital, where she got her cancer diagnosis and scans, is refusing to take her because they don't think it's serious, even though she says she is in major pain and has been diagnosed with enlarged lymph nodes. Still gathering info. We'll update soon. OOP also comments on this day more about boyfriend's aversion to therapy. Yes, so I asked him last night because I said with everything going on, it really might be a good idea to at least try therapy. He said no, and I asked him to explain why not. He said therapists don't work. I asked how he'd know if he's never been. He said his friends have. Then I told him that I have been to therapy and it has helped a little. He started challenging it and asked how or why it helped, and I told him that the doctor gave some good advice here and there, and that just by talking to a neutral party helped me understand my situation. Liam then said something along the lines of, "Why would I pay a guy $25 an hour if I can talk to you? Isn't that what a partner is for?" I told him I might not have the professional experience and resources to help him. He said he doesn't need resources, he just needs me to listen and be there. And then, since we were talking about me leaving for Europe, he started saying that maybe I should go to therapy because my girlfriend is leaving. I thought that was unfair to say because I assured him that I'd still be here for him and listen even if I'm overseas for a few weeks, but he simply said no. I felt inclined to bring up his manipulation for the first time, and a whole new conversation/fight started after that. No need to get into that too in this comment. TLDR. He doesn't want therapy because he believes that's what a partner is for. More on their argument. I haven't said this in any other comment yet because I'll probably post an update with what went down last night, but when we talked about me leaving again, because I said I'll book flights on Monday, he told me that while I'm in Europe, I should ask my mom what she would do if she was Liam. Would she help her mom or not? I asked him why he needs my mom's input now, and he said, because she's a good person. Not sure what to make of that, but then he asked a bunch of what-if questions. If I have an accident, would you come back? Like if I end up in a wheelchair? I said yes, of course. If my mom dies while you're gone, are you gonna come back? I said yes, absolutely, no question. What if her last words are, "Where is OP?" I stopped right there. Why would his mom's last words be asking for his girlfriend? I said, I doubt that's what she'll say. He then said, during her phone call this morning, those were her last words though. I said, no, I heard what her last words were. Don't ever call me again. He said I take things too literal and that she kept asking where I am when she called him, but I was asleep for that part. It was 5 a.m. when she called, and yes, she did ask where I am, but only because she wanted me to come over if his son refused. I am painting both of them as bad people. There is more to Liam's emotional state that explains why he'd say the things he does, but it still doesn't excuse that he is definitely guilt-tripping and manipulating me, and I had a serious talk with him yesterday. Might update the Reddit post one of these days. Mini update in comments, July 1st, 2025, 2 days later, 3 from OG post. Editor's note. This is in response to a long but really helpful comment. I wish I could give you a hug through the screen. Something about your message felt so comforting, even though it's overall a warning that reaffirms my fears and concerns. Thank you so much for taking the time to write all that. I really appreciate your input and the way in which you gave it. I have decided to go on my trip and will book the flights tomorrow after talking to my boss. I will have to be transparent with him about all this, as I do not like lying to anyone in any situation unless absolutely necessary. I'm sure he'll be okay with me working remotely or even taking off for a few weeks. It's just a work-study on campus after all, and he's a nice guy. I will be sure to secure all my valuables, like visa documents, credit cards, and sentimental objects such as journals. We'll leave them with a friend that Liam doesn't know at all. I will also change passwords for certain accounts. I've been thinking about all these things you've advised for the past couple of days, as my trust has broken more and more. It's not that I expect the worst, but I do want to be cautious, especially since Liam's behavior has been a little unpredictable lately. Also, to your last point about contraception, this might be TMI. I actually thought about that yesterday when we had intercourse. I never worried about that before, that he could possibly purposefully tinker with our protection. But in that moment, I got uncomfortable. I'm usually 100% comfortable doing it with him, but I felt a lack of trust that I hadn't before, and I got a bit sad about that. So just trying to say I'll be careful there too. I'm certainly not ready, nor do I want to have kids with him right now. Not before we're both secure in life, and physically and mentally healthy. I too hope that you're wrong, but can't at all blame you for making the deductions you have. I see it too in some ways, whether I want to or not, and we'll have to find a way to deal with this after I'm back from Europe. Thank you again for your long message, and for showing concern and care towards someone online whom you don't personally know. You have a kind heart. Mini update in comments. October 2nd, 2025. I'm in the process of getting the update approved by Reddit. There are a lot of rules that prevent me from sharing crucial details, but I'll do what I can to update you guys with as much detail as permitted. Update 1. First time updating a post. Hope I'm doing it right. A lot has happened since my last post. I did take your guys' advice and went to Europe to see my family for 3 weeks. Liam called me incredibly selfish, finding countless reasons for me to stay. I stood my ground and had a serious talk with him about feeling manipulated and guilt-tripped. That escalated into a meltdown. Threats like, "I'll book your ticket right now. I can and will. I can break up if I want to." Then driving off and breaking down sobbing like never before. He said he doesn't mean to manipulate me, that it hurts to hear me say I feel manipulated when all he's asking is for me to be there for him. I don't excuse his behavior, but if my mom was sick, I'd want his comfort too, so I understood his need for support. He calmed, apologized, and has been affectionate since. He ended up supporting my decision to leave and said how happy he was for me while I was with my family. I felt great over there, cherishing every moment. Didn't miss America at all. Liam seemed okay while I was gone and picked me up from the airport with a welcome home cake, which was sweet. We had a talk about the whole mom situation, and he kindly asked me to be more supportive of coming to the hospital with him. I agreed. Tanya was very dependent on Liam for weeks, calling him over day and night, guilt-tripping him non-stop. Eventually, he refused to help her anymore. She cut ties briefly, but they reconnected. His involvement has gone way down since then. Tanya's sister flew in from Qley to help out, but couldn't take her crazy demands, so she left. Niece came too, but left 3 days later. Tanya had surgery and started chemo, is getting thinner and losing her hair. She has another surgery scheduled for mid-October to get a mass removed, and a nurse at the hospital did say to Liam while I was there to witness it, "I'm glad you're visiting your mom. Cancer can be so tough. I don't think Tanya is faking anymore." Aita for being unsupportive. Despite believing Tanya, I haven't been involved at all since returning from Europe. I'm better at standing my ground now and defending myself when I feel manipulated by them. I learned how to say no. May not have mastered it yet, but I'm prioritizing my grades and my family over his mom's odd demands, while also balancing quality time with my BF. I show sympathy for his mom and text her here and there, but I agree with the Reddit comments that it's not my job to treat or nurse her, or spend my weekends doing her chores. Other updates. Tanya didn't get divorced. She needs David to pay her medical bills, but tells people he's a rude alcoholic who's waiting for her to die. Liam quit his job. It was too much on top of his mom. His mood is way better, he's healing mentally, and treating me better too. I support his unemployment for now because he's working diligently on projects and has enough savings for his part of rent. Can't fit more. Hope it brings some clarity. Some of OOP's comments. Commenter 1. Good for you for going to see your family and setting boundaries. OP. But Liam quit his job? Are you financially supporting him now? I think you should not put yourself at financial risk for this relationship. If you can easily afford to live and finish school, great. If this situation is setting you back, you should get out. People will call it selfish, but this is a toxic family, and I'm worried that your boyfriend's first instinct was to drag and manipulate you, and now he's not working. OOP. Thank you for your kind words. To answer your question, he's using his savings to pay for his portions. I haven't paid for any of his things since he's quit. He's also still covering most of the groceries, so financially, nothing has changed as of now. I'm able to support myself with my work-study jobs. I just wouldn't be able to carry him fully if he were to stop paying his parts. So as long as his savings hold up, we're good. And we both know that, and have agreed on that. If I am able to find a full-time job after graduation, I will cover a bit more of the rent share, which is fair because he's been paying a little more for rent these past 2 years since he has had a full-time job and I didn't. Commenter 2. And what happens when his savings run out? Cancer treatment can take years, and even if she gets in remission, she still will need care time to get better. Are you prepared for years of this? OOP. If his savings run out, he'll be forced to work whether he wants to or not. As a US citizen, he, unlike me, is at least able to work anywhere, even if it's just a part-time gig. I'm not allowed to work off campus and can only work up to 20 hours a week. So if he runs out of money, he'll have to work. Even if I wanted to cover his share, I can't. I just don't make enough money with my campus jobs. I also have emergency funds that I keep to myself, in case I ever need to suddenly pay for a flight home, or unexpected hospital bills, etc., that he doesn't have access to.